Grab your popcorn, folks, because the feud between Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump just went from simmering tension to an all-out roast, and honestly, it might be the most entertaining thing on TV right now. If you thought late-night television was just about celebrity interviews and bad dad jokes, think again. Thursday night, November 21, proved that the real drama is happening in the monologue, and Jimmy Kimmel just delivered a clapback for the history books. We all know the drill by now. Donald Trump tweets or truths, Kimmel responds, and the internet goes wild. But this latest exchange, it feels different. It feels personal. And thanks to a very specific, three-word insult involving a farm animal, it's instantly iconic. Let's break down exactly what went down, why it matters, and why we simply cannot look away from this train wreck of a relationship. The 12:49 a.m. trigger. It all started in the wee hours of the morning. You know the vibe. It's late, you're scrolling through your phone, maybe you should be asleep. Well, apparently, the former president was doing the exact same thing. At 12:49 a.m., a mere 11 minutes after Jimmy Kimmel Live finished airing on the East Coast, Trump took to his platform, Truth Social, to unleash a rant that felt all too familiar. He didn't hold back. He slammed Kimmel's ratings, a classic Trump move, called the show ABC fake news, and demanded, in no uncertain terms, to get the bum off the air. Bum. It's such an old-school insult, isn't it? It almost sounds quaint until you realize the vitriol behind it. But if Trump thought he was going to rattle the seasoned comedian, he clearly underestimated how much Kimmel enjoys this game. Hi, Mr. President. Instead of ignoring the rant or issuing a dry press release, Kimmel opened his Thursday night monologue by walking right into the fire, and he did it with a smile. "I'm the bum," Kimmel asked the audience, looking genuinely amused. He pointed out the timestamp of the post, noting the undeniable irony of the situation. He posted this at 12:49 a.m., 11 minutes after the show ended on the East Coast. Kimmel laughed. Which is nice, he watches us live. Let's pause for a second. There is something objectively hilarious about the idea of a former president sitting up late at night, hate watching a talk show host he despises, just waiting for the credits to roll so he can post about it. "Hi, Mr. President." Kimmel waved at the camera, breaking the fourth wall in the best way possible. "Thanks for watching us on TV instead of on YouTube. We appreciate that. It's viewers like you who keep us on the air, ironically." It was a masterclass in killing them with kindness, or at least, sarcastic kindness. The snowflake defense. Kimmel didn't stop at the pleasantries. He dug deeper into the psychology of these constant attacks. And let's be real, they are constant. "I've lost count," Kimmel admitted, referring to the sheer number of times Trump has called for his firing. It's become a bi-monthly tradition at this point. Talk about a snowflake, this guy, Kimmel quipped. "Every 5 weeks, he flips out and wants me fired." He then dropped an analogy that made the whole audience nod in agreement. He compared Trump to a nightmare neighbor, the kind of person everyone tries to avoid at the block party. If you got this many threats from a neighbor, you'd have no problem getting a restraining order, Kimmel joked. The judge would be like, "Yeah, sounds like the guy's nuts." Boom. It puts things into perspective, doesn't it? If anyone else acted this way toward a TV host, we'd call it obsession. But in the political arena, it's just another Tuesday. The battle of the ratings. Now, we have to talk about the ratings argument because it is Trump's favorite weapon. He loves to claim that anyone who criticizes him is failing. Kimmel, however, came prepared with receipts. "He keeps saying we have bad ratings, and you should listen to him," Kimmel said with a mischievous glint in his eye. "Because if anyone knows about bad ratings, it's that guy." Cue the montage. The show cut to a brutal reel of clips from various news networks, all highlighting reports on Trump's own declining approval ratings. It was a classic "I know you are, but what am I?" moment, elevated by national television production values. The offer, Butch Cassidy and the Sunton Kid. Just when we thought the segment was peaking, Kimmel offered a peace treaty. Well, sort of. It was more of a mutual destruction pact. He proposed a deal that would see him finally step away from the late-night desk, but only if Trump holds up his end of the bargain. "How about this?" Kimmel offered. "I'll go when you go, okay? We'll be a team." Then came the line that probably had the writer's room high-fiving for hours. "Let's ride off into the sunset together like Butch Cassidy and the Sunton Kid." The Sunton Kid. It's petty, it's silly, and it's hilarious. It paints a mental image of the two of them, saddle by saddle, riding away from the limelight. Honestly, I'd watch that movie. But we all know neither of them is going anywhere anytime soon. The mic drop, quiet Peggy. If the Sunton Kid line was the jab, the closer was the knockout punch. And to understand why the audience gasped and cheered, you have to understand the context. Kimmel saved his most cutting remark for last. Looking directly into the camera, addressing the man who called him a bum, Kimmel said, "Until then, if I may borrow a phrase from you, quiet, Peggy." The crowd erupted. Why? Because Kimmel was holding a mirror up to Trump's own recent behavior. For those who missed it, Kimmel was referencing a shocking moment that happened just last Friday, November 14, aboard Air Force One. Bloomberg reporter Catherine Lucy had attempted to ask the president a follow-up question regarding the Epstein files, a touchy subject, to say the least. Rather than answering, Trump reportedly snapped at her, telling the professional journalist, "Quiet, quiet, Peggy." It was a demeaning, bizarre, and aggressive insult. By turning those exact words back on Trump, Kimmel wasn't just insulting him, he was highlighting the absurdity and cruelty of the original comment. It was a way of saying, if you can dish it out, you better be ready to take it. Why we love the drama. Look, we know politics is exhausting. We know the news cycle is a roller coaster that never stops. But there is something cathartic about these moments. When a comedian refuses to back down to a powerful political figure and uses humor to deflate the tension, it gives us all a moment to breathe and laugh at the chaos. Kimmel isn't just reading jokes, he's engaging in a public feud that reflects the polarized, high-stakes, and often ridiculous world we're living in. Whether you love Kimmel or hate him, you have to admit, he knows how to put on a show. And as long as Trump keeps watching, and we know he will, Kimmel is going to keep swinging. What's your take on this late-night showdown? Was Kimmel's quiet, Peggy response too far, or was it the perfect comeback to being called a bum? Is the Sunton Kid the best nickname of the year? Check out the full monologue online if you haven't seen it yet, and let us know what you think in the comments. Something tells us this isn't the last chapter of this feud, and we'll be right here with the popcorn when the next tweet drops.